Hello everybody and welcome to Kerbal Space Program's main menu. So, you may notice that we're not landing on Minmus right now. Yeah, you can blame Microsoft for that. Kerbal Space Program has its saves in the main game folder. When I was forced to reinstall Windows due to Microsoft forcing me to install an update, which then failed and I couldn't revert, when I was forced to reinstall Windows, the KSP folder was, along the way, deleted. Which means that this save file that we've been using is gone. Nothing we can do about it at this point. Luckily, it's still relatively early in the series, so we're just going to start over. I can hit resume saved, there's nothing there. So we're going to have to start a new one. And we are going to call this Solar Gateway. And I really, really wish that this wasn't the case. But this is just the sort of day I've been having today. Battletech's save was also erased. Luckily, we've still got the saves for Stellaris and Crusader Kings. I'd be really upset if we lost Ethiopia through the ages. Luckily, we did not. That appears to be intact. So that's a great thing. But I guess we're just going to start this over, and maybe this time I'll be less incompetent? Silver lining? We'll grab our first two contracts. Excellent. We'll need to get science data recovered, some level of it. So we're just going to put in the command pod, and we are going to go ahead and we have no science equipment other than a mystery goo containment unit. Okay, we're just going to do this. We're going to launch this, recover this data. That's pretty much it. Because we are starting from scratch. We'll keep that. Go ahead and EVA. And I want the X-Science Here and Now window, which is... I forget how you do that nowadays. Running a new version of X-Science. Oh yeah, it's this button. That's right. So we EVA. EVA report. I want to set this to 1.0. There we go. Perfect. We'll crew report, keep that, and recover. Okay. So this time, I have some knowledge gained from the previous attempts, so that's always good. So we'll go ahead and grab the basic rocketry. I would love to grab this. We don't quite have the ability to do it yet. We'll go ahead and grab Escape the Atmosphere. But first, we need to do a quick test launch. And we're just going to use a flea. I'm going to set our thrust limiter on this to something along the lines of this. Also going to cut the amount of fuel in half, just to make sure we don't get going too quickly. And then we are going to go ahead and put on a parachute. We're not going to do this in the same stage. We will instead do this. Excellent. No real point in saving this. This craft is not going to stick around very long. Well, Jeb, you ready to go? Off goes Jeb. We'll grab crew report, mystery goo observation. Excellent. We'll try to get some horizontal speed here, so that we're not bombing the launch site. In fact, we may as well... Ooh, these are some fun aerodynamics. Yeah, there we go. That's pretty good. And now we'll drop our parachute. And we'll just... Yes, I know how physics warp works. And now we'll just physics warp over. Chute will deploy. Let's get rid of the Actually, we should EVA report if we get going slowly enough. SAS can go off. This is plenty slow. Oh, we can't EVA. I forgot about that. Okay. So, downward we go. Just physics warping towards the ground at this point, trying to get through that as quickly as possible. We have, of course, performed an EVA test at home and all that nonsense over there. Scientific data from Kerbal. Yep. Fantastic. And here we are. Now we can EVA report here. There we go. We can't crew report or mystery goo observation because we don't have an experimental storage module, so we'll just go ahead and recover that for now. I don't know, maybe the clones of Jeb, Bill, and Bob were too much for the save game to handle, and it deleted itself? Or maybe they were haunting us. I don't know. All I know is it was Microsoft's fault. Is this the experiment storage unit? No. What gives us the experiment storage unit? Basic science. Okay, so that's what we want to aim for sure. General rocketry will be a pretty important thing to grab, of course. Actually, that's kind of irrelevant right now. I'm much more interested, honestly, in radial decouplers. So we'll grab that. And let's hop in here and see what we've got. We can orbit, or we can test a hammer at the launch site for some free cash, which I think we'll do. I'm also going to go in here and immediately set up a, let's see here, a fundraising campaign. Our max commitment is 21% right now. Yes. So that's what we will go ahead and do. Fantastic. Now, we do need to test a hammer. So let's go ahead and put on a hammer. No fuel in it. Save, launch. Actually, we didn't need to save. And then we will just go ahead and run test. Fantastic. And now we can recover. That's all we needed to do. Let's complete that contract. Okay. What else do we got? Nothing super easy, so we'll go ahead and grab Orbit Kerbal. Now, we're probably going to aim suborbital first. I don't know, maybe our first real launch will be an orbital launch. That would be funny. Also might be a little bit of a stretch, considering that we don't have any control surfaces. Do these count for changing the aerodynamic position? They actually do. Okay. That's theoretically doable then. We might be able to get into orbit. So we'll do 2, 3... Actually, we're going to need decouplers. Do we have a heat shield? We don't have a heat shield. So we would then put in a TD-12 right here. That's a T-400. In terms of engines, all we have is the swivel. So we'll put in a T-800. How many total parts can we have? 30? Okay. That puts us at 20 right there. What's our thrust to weight with this nonsense? 1.49? Might be doable. This might be doable. Put on a pair of SRBs on the outside. We only have hammers, that's right. I was going to use thumpers, which is why I put it up so high. We can go ahead and move that down, though. So we can grab these, place them down over here. So then the SRBs would fire at the same time as this, thus granting us... Oh, we are over our tonnage. We're over our tonnage. We can drop some tonnage like that. Okay, and now we put in some winglets. Like this to make us aerodynamically stable, but hopefully not too aerodynamically stable. It's going to be close. Something like that. We could potentially put some nose cones here as well. That puts us at 29 out of 30. We've got 3224 meters per second of DV here. As far as re-entry goes, all we've got is this nose cone parachute. So that's a little bit spooky. Our thrust to weight here is 3.23 for 24 seconds. And then after that, 1.92 for an additional roughly 50 seconds. Maybe we should quad couple these SRBs. Something like that. Except not at that angle. Something more along the lines of that would theoretically work. Now I do want to move these down a little bit, down to about here. Okay. Now that puts us at 35 out of 30 parts. Well, we can ditch the nose cones. That puts us at 31. And then I guess we can ditch 1 unit of fuel? We're still overweight. Getting to orbit with both of these limitations are going to be very difficult. We need to drop about 6 tons. It's the SRBs that are so heavy. Maybe we should go back to bicoupling them. Something along the lines of this, which puts us at 2.35. And we would fire like that. We've got plenty of weight. We could put more fuel on. Are we going to exceed our thrust to weight if we do that, though? That exceeds our actual weight. So this is pretty much the best we can... Actually, we're still exceeding the weight. So this is pretty much the best we can do here. I suppose we could put the aerodynamic nose cones back on. I don't know, this thrust to weight is still a little spooky. We can give it a go, though. What's the worst that can possibly happen to Jeb? Well, he can die. But that's nothing new for Jeb. Okay, let's give this a go. In theory, this should be reasonably stable. So, off we go. Is this running? Why isn't the... Oh. It's because I'm a moron? That is the reason. I had it in the wrong stage. Okay, off go the SRBs. Our inclination is really wacky, and we don't have much for actual control here, but at least we're going to be pretty stable. And luckily, our inclination isn't our biggest worry. Not right now, anyway. We'll grab a crew report, and we'll save the mystery goo observation until we get into space for right now. And yeah, these don't have any control surfaces. They're simply lifting, so that's going to be kind of exciting. We don't know our time to apoapsis. Also in the category of kind of exciting. But we're nearly at orbital speed right now, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the engines until we get into space. Yeah, we don't know time to apoapsis. We can't do maneuvers. However, we broke a lot of records. Good job, Jeb. You're a record breaker. He also might be a dead record breaker, but we'll let him find out that for himself. So I think we'll start burning again once we get up to perhaps Well, just maybe in space. Or actually, we should burn when the prograde marker is at the horizon, is when we should burn. That is exactly when we should burn. We are in space officially as of right now. So I'll grab the mystery goo observation. There we go. And then we will go ahead and warp forward, watching that prograde marker. Getting close. Okay. Now is about the time that we should probably get started on this burn. So let's give this a go. We're very close to the apoapsis right now, but we're also very close to orbital velocity. Just chilling on the prograde marker. And we're in orbit. That was quick. Amazing what you can do with some competence. Well, vaguely competent. There was the whole launch debacle. Excellent. How much energy do we have? Not a lot, but this does have an alternator on it. So that's fine. But honestly, at this point, we are probably just going to do a bit of an orbit. Because I don't want to come down over here. Oh, I don't actually want you to stop time warping. We don't have the ability to gather any of this science yet. And we're just going until we're facing retrograde, pretty much. Hello, retrograde. Okay, so here we are. I'm actually probably going to warp forward a little bit further here. To about here-ish. How's that looking? Yeah, the sun is up here. So let's just go ahead and begin our descent. I think since we don't have any drogue chutes or any anything like that, we should probably aim for a relatively shallow return point. Something like this. And then we will use what remaining fuel we have to get ourselves slowed down a little bit further if we need to. I mean, we've still got 514 meters per second left. It's not bad. So our first real flight was, in fact, an orbital one. I'm very happy about that. I'm less happy about the fact that the save got deleted, but honestly, what are you going to do? It's all Microsoft's fault. They forced me to install the update. And then broke everything. So we're going to use this as a bit of a heat shield as well. And hopefully our fins here will give us some aerodynamic resistance and slow us down a little bit. But if we have some parts go boom here, that's not the end of the world. All we got to do is get Jeb back in one piece, and we get so much science from this, relative to what we need. So down we go. We're going down relatively slowly, currently. But Jeb doesn't have any ability yet to do anything, so we'll just have to keep this where it's at manually. And this is going to be a bit of a slow descent. I mean, ultimately, maybe a bit of a reboot on this series isn't the worst thing. I was playing so badly at the beginning of the previous save. I feel like this, to some degree, redeemed me. I mean, that ascent was not pretty, and I'm not going to pretend it was. But it worked. So that's a thing. Our periapsis is 32 kilometers. I'm actually going to go ahead and physics warp a little bit here. It's a little dangerous. But we aren't seeing any atmospheric effects until now. So now is the time when I'm going to not physics warp anymore. And downward we go. Is it just me, or is the game audio quieter? I suppose I didn't actually set that, did I? It's at 15%. I'm going to bring that up to 26. Yeah, that seems a little better. Fantastic. So we're just going to try to hold our retrograde attitude for right now. And once we get to our periapsis, if we start going back up, we are definitely going to burn this delta V. Otherwise, it'll be when we start losing control, losing attitude control. Which honestly, that might be pretty soon, that we start losing attitude control. Of course, we've got these fins. And they're definitely helping. Okay, we are no longer in orbital mode. Our periapsis is now 22 kilometers. And I'm struggling a little bit to hold this attitude now. We're still 40 kilometers up, though. So I'm probably going to wait until we're going to hit this water over here and then fire the engines. Realistically. I don't really want to land on land. Okay. Firing the engines now to maintain attitude. Firing them again for attitude correction. We've only got 75 meters per second left here, so... And one last attitude firing. Okay, goodbye that stage. The SAS can go off. Because we are going to be aerodynamically stable now. And hopefully there's enough air between us and the ground to slow us down enough to use our regular chute. Be awkward if there wasn't. I mean, we're still 30 kilometers up. Regular chute activates at what, 600 meters per second that you can use that? 500? 400? I don't know, I'm so used to drogue chutes. I mean, we are slowing down speedily. Considering that we're still 24 kilometers up, I think we're good. Oh yeah, we're definitely good. We'd be entering drogue chute territory right about now. And main chute should be usable quite soon. Yeah, it is now. And so we shall. And now we'll just physics warp down. Well, that was rather more successful than some of our previous save attempts. Maybe we'll just pretend like the first 21 episodes, they just didn't happen. They were all just a dream. A nightmare that Jeb had. I'm sure that's what it was. We're kind of spinning a little bit. I'm going to turn on the SAS to stop that. And that looked kind of wacky with the physics boost. What is this called? Warp. Physics warp. Okay, we're going to EVA here. No, there's nothing to be grabbed there. Okay. We'll just recover that and see what we get. That's a lot of science. I like it. Explore the moon? Yeah, we will do that. None of these other things are particularly useful for us. Yeah, none of those are. However, we definitely want to grab survivability and basic science. Those are going to be huge investments for us. And with that, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will see you all next time in this fresh save.